JustEnufEyes. Today I'm going to do a video talking about my tongue piercing experience, how it went, any pointers I have, any difficulties I had. So if you are planning on getting yours done or you're just curious about it, then stay tuned. So I've wanted to get my tongue pierced for probably 7 or 8 years. I've thought about it. Back then I did go to see a piercer and see if they would do it, and he wouldn't do it. He checked with a flashlight through my tongue, and I have a vein that runs through the middle, so I was just unable to get it. So I kind of forgot about it, didn't really think about it. Then on my trip to Tulum, Mexico with my friends, they were going to get some tattoos done, some piercings done. This was right at the beginning of the trip, and I just wanted to ask the piercer about it and just ask about my tongue. I wasn't really thinking seriously about getting it. I just didn't even think I could get it. And he said, no problem, what I can do, because I do actually have a vein, but he can pierce slightly tilted to avoid the vein. So he did tilt it slightly sideways and slightly backwards. So it's not perfect. You can see when I open my mouth, it is quite slanted, but once I have a smaller bar, I don't think it will be as obvious. So he said he would do it, and I was all for it. So 10 minutes later, I was sitting there with my tongue sticking out. So they cleaned it, dried it, and it was very difficult, I would say, because you have to stick out your tongue and be relaxed, but you're really nervous. And my friend was there, thankfully, holding my hand and everything. So the first half, they start at the bottom and go up. The first half felt pretty good. I would say a 4 or 5 out of 10. The second half was an 8 or a 9, and I think that's probably because it is quite far back on my tongue, and your tongue's very thick, I'm not sure. But so we got it through, we got the piercing in, put the balls on. So after the piercing was in, I almost fainted. I was just very nervous. I was taking really deep breaths, and the pain was a little more than I expected. So I did get a bit lightheaded. They laid me down, and I just rested for probably 5 or 10 minutes. And the pain started to diminish. It was an 8, and then it went down to 7 and a 5, and then I was okay, I'm all right. I caught my breath, and the pain slowly diminished, so I was all right. And yeah, so I was getting it done. Then I thankfully bought a few piercings while I was there. I thought they were cute, some cute colors. I went home, and my tongue really did swell up that night, quite big. And I also got a very sore throat, which I think the further back your piercing is, the more it will affect your tonsils and just your throat in general, because your tongue goes down. So the first night, it was hard to eat popsicles or drink water, just do anything. It was hard to swallow and a bit painful. But the next day was a lot better. It was challenging trying to learn how to eat again and how to talk again. Thankfully, I didn't have much of a lisp or anything. I was all right talking, but I found that the more I talked, the pain would start to come up to maybe a 3 or a 4. So I was I think it's just better if I just rest my tongue and just let it sit. So I was doing kind of sign language. I figured out that I could eat most foods. I would just tuck it to the side, I would chew it, and I would swallow. I would just kind of avoid the tongue altogether. So it did take me a week or 2 to heal, but that was perfect. My trip was 2 weeks, so I could just not really talk. Whereas here, I'm talking to clients all day and talking to YouTube, and I needed to be able to talk, but it was fine to just rest, eat, relax. I was in Mexico, so there was guacamole everywhere, so I was mostly eating that to get some carbs and just get some food in me. So I think that was kind of my go-to. And the cleanliness was also really important as well, especially with the tongue. So I got alcohol-free Listerine. I would clean my mouth a few times with that, and I think it was a bit too strong, even the alcohol-free. It was starting to dry out my mouth, and the top of my tongue was turning white, which is pretty normal, I think, when you first get a tongue piercing. Then I started switching over to using salt water, and I feel that was more gentle, and it had healing properties to it. So I found that was helpful. Once I started alternating or doing mostly salt water, it did seem to improve. I also started using Q-tips and just using the bud of the Q-tip to clean the top of my tongue, to kind of exfoliate it, just to get rid of any dead skin cells, and I feel that really helped. But I think it was still a good 2 weeks before my tongue turned pink again. Like, it got rid of that residue. The pain went away probably like a week and a half. I literally couldn't feel it in my tongue anymore, which is great, because at first I could feel like the bar, like I felt pain through my tongue, but once it healed, I can't feel anything in my tongue, which is great. Something bad happened on the second day. We were driving, I was talking, telling a story, and I like coughed and was like, was I chewing gum? Like, I think I just swallowed something, and it was the top ball to the tongue piercing. So I was like, it fell out, I have to go. So we went back home. Thankfully I bought some piercings, so I took off one of the acrylic balls, and it was challenging to put in for sure because my tongue was so swollen and kind of like numb. It was almost impossible for me to stick my tongue out, and you have to like hold the bottom ball while you're twisting. It was really challenging and very stressful because if this fell out, I would have like a problem trying to get it back in. So thankfully the friends I was with, 2 of them had their tongues pierced for like 10 years and 20 years, so they were really helpful. Thankfully one of them had really small hands, so she was able to do it with clean hands and everything. So ever since then I've been tightening it every day and it hasn't fallen off. It's been good ever since then. So I think that was just something that no one told me, like you have to tighten it every day, but that was the day after I got it pierced. So that was the only thing that was a bit tough. Other than that, it's been good. I can't feel it in my mouth anymore. I have just the metal ball underneath and acrylic on top. The rest that I bought are acrylic. It's supposed to be a lot safer for your teeth. In case you bite it, the ball would break instead of your teeth breaking on a metal ball. So my tongue is a bit swollen. It's been a month now. So I'm probably going to wait another week or 2 and then try to put the smaller bar on, which will also be great. It'll kind of hide how diagonal it is, I think, when you can just see the top and the bottom without the bar. So I did change the bar to the smaller bar. It fit perfectly, and it was a lot easier than that first time to put the new ball on. It's been feeling a lot more comfortable as well in the smaller setting. So that is my experience. I think all in all it was not too bad. The healing was pretty quick. It was just a bit awkward to practice talking and eating, but other than that I think it's been a good piercing and I've enjoyed having it. So that's my experience. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video.